Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're going to give you a review on the Litehawk Brute, also a running review as well. Now, first off, you guys know I've been boycotting Litehawk for a long time, at least a lot of you know, and I'm still pretty pissed at them, don't get me wrong. I'm still, not forgiving as far as that Challenger boat incident goes, because they never came good like they should have. But that doesn't mean that everything else is garbage, because I have mentioned before, even in my rants, that up until that boat I had no problems with their products. Even their prices were fairly reasonable on a lot of their parts, and their products seem to be pretty good, because I even still have my Charger boat, and I love it. It's a great boat. It's that big Challenger boat that was the big issue. Anyhow, so I thought I'd give them another chance, and besides, curiosity always gets the best of me, and because one of the brands that I carry in my store is WL Toys, and they make a machine called the L969, and it's a monster truck, 1/12 scale, blah blah blah. Well, the Litehawk Brute, of course, has come out after that 969 has already been on the market for quite some time. And so I want to check into it, and with everything that I found out, they're exactly the same. The only difference is the canopy sticker says Litehawk Brute, and the remote says Litehawk stickers on the remotes, and you won't see that, of course, on the WL Toys. Now, this remote is identical to the Brute remote. It's actually the exact same remote. And it's actually for my L959 buggy, which is actually the Litehawk Blast. So, and those machines, part for part, are exactly the same as well. So the 969 is precisely the same machine. Now what they all have in common is the chassis are the same on all of them. The steering servo, the suspensions, the receiver box, the brushed motor, the gearbox, all of your stabilizer links, your A-arms, everything is all the same between the Brute and the 969. And then of course the only difference between your Blast and L959 is going to be wheels, body canopy support, and of course your strut mounts for your suspension are going to be different. Otherwise, everything else exactly and precisely the same. Now the L202 is a same as the Blast and the L959, except its only difference is brushless motor, brushless ESC receiver combo unit. So you can actually upgrade your Litehawk Brute or your L969 and your L59 using the L202 ESC receiver combo unit and their brushless motor, because everything fits. It's all the same. Play and go, plug and go. And of course you get metal dog bones on the L202, which you can order metal dog bones, throw them on this, much more durable dog bones, which you're going to want because the brushless motor will tear apart the plastic dog bones, so you're going to want to go to the steel dog bones. So I actually ordered in a set of the steel dog bones, and probably next month I'll be ordering in my brushless upgrade kit for one of these machines anyways. I'll probably start with this one, just because I'd really like to go brushless with this one for sure. It's actually the most fun that I can have at home with it, as well as go out onto the track, which I'd like to do that very soon too, as soon as I can get some time. I just got this thing back in from a run, and had a lot of fun with it actually. And it runs over 10 minutes on a single charge battery. Now the battery that comes with it is a 1500 milliamp 7.4 volt lithium ion battery. Now an 1800 milliamp would actually be a little bit better for a little bit more playtime, but hey, 1500 milliamps and over 10 minutes, hey, that works for me. Jumping wise, it jumps my ramp actually pretty good. I still need a lot of practice, getting some really good speed up and hitting that ramp, because when I built it I didn't think at the time, and I didn't make it like 4 feet wide like I probably should have. It'd be a lot easier to line up something on 4 feet wide than it is on something that's just over a foot wide. So I have a lot more practicing to do yet. learning how to get lined up and hit that ramp at some high speeds. But for what I did in the video portion of this, it actually does pretty good. And you know, I didn't break anything. I even hit a rock with it, and no big deal, and made it tumble. And it's very durable machine, guys. Very durable. I mean, if you're looking at, I don't care if you buy the Litehawk Brood or if you buy a WL Toys version, or you know, but the price wise for the Brood, even at 150 bucks, it's worth it. Okay, now the parts replacement cost, because Litehawk does have 100% parts support, and so does WL Toys, but regardless, we're talking the Litehawk here. The parts price is not too bad for most of the parts. They're fairly reasonably priced. And you're not going to break that much too easily anyways. You know, it's going to take a lot of abuse to even break anything on this thing. So, you know, just be aware, it is a very well constructed machine, okay? It's going to take some abuse. Even the canopy, it's thicker plastic, so it's going to take a lot more hits before you do break it. And if you do break anything on it, you can crazy glue it back together in like a matter of seconds, and away you go. Replacement canopies from Litehawk are like 20 bucks, and they even have a clear canopy for this that you can use and paint it yourself, right? So otherwise just paint over top of this paint job on the outside, and unless you want to really strip the inside paint out, by all means have fun. Anyway, it's got very good response. It is full digital steering, full digital speed control, forward and reverse. It's very hyper even in reverse, but very hyper in forward. Takeoff speed is actually reasonably well on this thing. It does pretty good considering it's got these big lugs to haul around. The center of gravity is still at the rear, so you still have a lot of weight back here, but you also have a stiffer rear end on here than you do on the Blast, and you've got a very soft front end. Now, if you pick it up and just drop it like this, I mean, you're never going to bottom that out. You know, and that was a concern for me, considering the weight. But this thing is so light in the front end, it's sick. You know, but at the same time, it's able to also dig in when it needs to. And a fully independent suspension is really cool as well. Now, these are not oil-filled shocks by any means. They're cheap shocks. But I mean, you can get different springs and you can beef them up. You can pull the collars down. Put some zip ties in there for beefing up the shocks to stiffen them up a little bit more if you want to change the way your ride handles. You can actually lower the front end to get the center of gravity moved a little bit, so it might be a little bit more stable in the jump wise, because they've maxed out all the settings on this thing for the suspension. So it's maximum ride height, but you can still lower the front end, and if you wanted to, which I don't know why you would, but you could lower the rear end by just adjusting them to the outwards of your A-arms. So pretty good overall, very pleased with it. Even for, you know, the fact that I did buy a Litehawk again, I had to find out, like I said, about, you know, the similarities between it and the 969, and you know, it's something I wanted to find out, like, is it worthwhile? And to me, you know what, it's a very worthwhile machine. It's a lot of fun for the money. It's a lot of durability for the money. If you're just getting into RC, this is actually a really good machine to start with. Now, for stock setup, I ran it for complete stock setup. The only thing I changed on this thing at all was I moved my back canopy supports as high up as I can put them, because their stock setup sucked. It made the rear end look like it was almost sitting on the ground, which I didn't like. So I raised them up, and I cut 1.5 inches off my antenna tube, because it sat up too high and it's hard to get the canopy on. You have to kind of like fiddle-faddle with it and bend it over, and it's like, what? That's a pain in the neck. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to shorten this sucker, because shortening the tube doesn't make any difference at all. Just don't cut that wire. I took about a good 1.5 inches off, and now I've got about a good inch of clearance underneath the center of my hood, or roof anyways, of the canopy. So now it's not getting bent or anything over, and it's going to stay there without any issues. And I even zippy tied the excess wire down near the bottom of the post to keep everything in there nice and tight. So that's going to be bonus. The other thing you're going to find too with this receiver is it does have the same LED plug-ins because it's the same receiver used in the Blast, the L959 and the L969. So you can hook LED lights up. Now I would not recommend going past one LED per socket. You don't want to overdrain that power circuit because I don't know how they've actually wired, if it's got a feed direct from the battery or not, but I really wouldn't push my luck on it. It's probably through another circuit anyway, because you're talking a 7.4 volt battery, and the LEDs that I'm using have no resistor protection. So you're getting about 4.2 volts or whatever through each pod anyways, regardless. And I'm running 5mm ultra brights on my buggy. And so anyway, no more than one on each pod because you don't want to overdrain and pop anything. But I mean, if you do blow the receiver on this thing, it's dirt cheap, you know, so that's a good point. It's very cheap for replacement receiver if you burn it out. Motors are fairly cheap. Everything's pretty cheap to replace on this thing. And you know, I haven't like massively abused this thing yet, but that's coming very soon. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to see what I can make break on it. But so far, for what I've been doing, I haven't broken anything, so quite happy with that. So anyways, take a look at our driving footage on this thing, which also has an ending spot where we talk about a brushless motor, which I'm going to mention now. The brushless motor from the L202 is going to give you about 60 kilometers an hour out of this machine, and it's going to be a lot more beneficial that way, and it's also going to be able to allow you to use LiPo batteries without any problem. You don't want to drive the battery till it's completely dead. There is no cutoff. So I've actually tested my battery because I just took it off, and I got a couple. One of the cells is actually below the 3 volt, so it doesn't have a cutoff built in, or if it is, it doesn't work with the beans anyway. But you don't want to run a regular LiPo anyway. These things you can actually run them sometimes below 3 volts and not have a problem. I've recovered these things when they've only had like 1.5 volts in one cell or both cells. But LiPo batteries, forget it. If it drops below 3 volts a cell, they're usually trashed at that point. But if you're going to run LiPos, run a LiPo alarm. They're not that costly, and these ones are programmable here, and you can hook it in, and because you can actually feed your balance connector up through here and paste that there with some Velcro and plug in and set your voltage cutoff limit so you can get your car back safe and not damage your battery. So that's kind of like a must-have toy. Oh, it's not really a toy, it saves your battery. Anyhow, so without further, let's watch the footage. Hey guys, how's it going? So we've got our running review we're going to do of the new 1/12 scale Litehawk Brute monster truck. So we're going to take it around a few little spots in the street and whatnot, and jump it off the ramp, see if it survives that, and a bit of running in the yard, and give you an overall of how it runs. Now they do claim 22 plus miles per hour on this thing, so a good test to see how fast it actually goes, takeoff speed and all that, is definitely on the street. As far as speed and steering goes, it actually holds on the road pretty good with those off-road tires. I'll see how well it goes through the ditch and all this tall grass. Probably gonna should take a run at it. I'll take a run at it, it goes pretty good. Now we're just gonna coast into the ditch, see if we can get back out again. And see if we can do that. It's got a car coming by we're gonna have to wait for. Let's try some really tall grass and see what happens. And that's it. It won't go through that tall grass. It gets stuck. It is rear-wheel drive too, so. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to where they got some rocks kicking around and some other dirt next door, and we'll see what it does there. Oh, I got stuck already. Let's kick up a bit of dirt. So if you're goosing it, you're going to have a, not a whole ton of traction, but if you take a little easier, it's pretty good. It'll crawl over this stuff all right. Pretty stable when you're walking over stuff. So let's take this to the backyard. And we'll have a little bit of fun back here. Now this thing actually does move through this short grass really well. Doesn't drag the machine down. So it's going to do a lot better than the Litehawk Flash as far as grassy areas go. Now let's take this thing over to the ramp and see if we can jump the ramp with it. I'm going to point it at the switch. I've never jumped this thing off my ramp yet, so we're going to take a couple runs at it anyway and get it lined up here. bad little jumper. I mean, I can't really build up enough speed to really make it kick. It's a pretty narrow ramp. I'm gonna have to build a much wider one. This way I won't be, you know, so worried about lining things up dead center, but with stock setup, it seems to be taking it. Let's just check things out. Nothing's broken. So we're all still pretty good. So, I mean, I got about 14 inches of height at the end when this thing launches off. So, I mean, even for all this weight and stock setup for the suspension, it's actually pretty good the way it is. And, you know, you can see it runs pretty decent on the grass here. I mean, it's going to get dragged down a little bit. Oh, I got stuck in the apple tree here. But it's a fairly fast machine. I would probably give it the 20, maybe 22 miles an hour top end on the street anyway. It's going to be a little slower in the grass. But otherwise, I say it's a pretty good machine and definitely worth the 150 bucks anyhow. And, you know, Litehawk does have the full parts support. And there is a brushless upgrade that you can get. Not from Litehawk though, but we'll talk about that too. And you can get this thing flipping up over 60 kilometers an hour, plus metal dog bones, and we'll talk more about that. But she's a pretty fun little truck anyway. You know, so even if you're just getting into, you know, more of a serious type of an RC, just to, you know, not spend a whole whack load of money, and have something that's going to be cheap on parts too if you do break something, it's a good machine for doing it with. And there we go, we flipped her over finally. That took a bit of a hit. Nothing broke. And that hit a rock. So anyway, I'd say this pretty much concludes our running review on this truck. It's a lot of fun, you know. The battery's still going. Street-wise, I'm still going to have a lot of speed here. It's pretty good on the different surfaces. Boom. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments as always, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. So I guess the next video you're going to see on this, or a series of videos, we're going to start modding this thing. Thanks for watching.